Hello geometry students, welcome to the video lesson on GeoGebra, and in this lesson I'm going to show you some more features of GeoGebra in the context of the fence problem. So the fence problem says that you have two neighbors that have a very awkward border and you want to somehow draw a better border. Okay? So one of the hints that I gave in class is for you to start by looking at the ideal scenario. So let's say you have a line here, and let's look at a very special case. Let's look at, what if I had two lines here that are parallel? So let me do that again. So you go to this tool and go down to parallel line, click on a line, and then just drag this to some other spot, and you have two lines that are parallel. Okay. Now let's also make some line segments. And we can try to tweak this point here so that the two line segments are almost the same. Okay, so they're not quite, but they're almost the same. Okay. Now I'm going to ask, how do we draw the new boundary so that the amount of land that each neighbor has is the same. I'm going to temporarily just hide the label on here. I'm going to right click on these things and just uncheck or select or deselect show label. And now let's just take a wild guess. Let's make a line segment from here to here. Okay, and let me do that again. You have to be careful. Select the line segment tool. Make sure you select right on the dot here, and then make sure that this is right on the line, not slightly off. So let's put that right there on the line. Okay, I'm going to put another point in here as the intersection, and when I put the point on here, you can see that both of the lines are going to sort of highlight or grow a little bolder. Okay. Now let's see. There's some stuff here that I don't care about. Okay. And so you can see, well, as we move this back and forth, the areas are going to change a little bit. But to really calculate the areas, you have to find a polygon. So let's see. I'm going to build a polygon here. And there's some more line segments here. But I'm going to right click, and I don't want to see the label. I want to make sure that they're still there. I just don't want to see the label. And you can see on the left side here it says poly 1 E3.31. Okay. And I'm going to build another polygon up here. And I have some more segments, and let's just get rid of these segments that I don't need to see. Okay, so I make sure they're still there. I'm just not going to care very much about them. Okay, so I'm also, let's see, on this tool here we can change the color a little bit. So in our method here, the blue triangle is what this neighbor over here is giving up, and the brown triangle is what the neighbor is gaining. Okay. In fact, let me label something. So I'm just click on this text tool, and I'm going to type over here neighbor A, and over here we'll call them text neighbor B. Okay. So move this stuff around. Okay, now then let's see. The fun sort of begins here, where we can actually start playing around. Before doing that though, I'm going to right click on here, say object properties, and I'm going to show the label but show the value instead of showing the name. So the okay. So this basically says that the area of this object is 2.03. This 6.5 here refers to the length, so I'm going to ignore it. And I'm going to do the same thing here, show label and show the value. Okay, so this length, okay, so this length here is 2.23, but the area of the object is 3.31. Now, let's think about this. How do we slide this back and forth? We want to slide it back so that the two polygons, the blue one and the brown one, has the exact same area. Okay. So there's some special in between here where like they're almost the same. So I would stop right here, and let's see if I can get them to be even. They're not exactly the same. They're almost the same. Okay, but with this, you don't have to be perfect, because this we're just sort of guessing and testing. So making a segment from point D to this point G somehow gets these two areas to be just about the same. Okay. And now what I would do if I were you is look at this picture and see what characteristics, if there are any patterns in anything. For example, you can measure this angle here, and you can measure these angles up here, and see if any of those are related. You can try to. I think the hint that I gave in class is to try to make a trapezoid out of this somehow, and that would be very, very helpful as well. Okay. So again, this is just something for you to experiment with and see if you can find some pattern that comes out of this. Once you're done with that, try a more difficult example where these two lines here are parallel, but this point is a little bit off. So if this point was a little bit off like this, where's the sweet spot? Where's the magical spot to measure them? To put this point G, to draw this line. Okay. So this video is not meant to provide you with answers. It's meant to give you a lot to think about. It's meant to hopefully give you some hints so that you'll be on the right track. As always, keep working at this. You're naturally going to run into some roadblocks, but that is normal because these are some very challenging problems. Ask for help if you get stuck.